Good morning. Welcome to the Mayor's Weekly. We're pleased to have you with us. And probably two sessions back, we kind of gave you a prelude to what we were doing budget-wise. And today, Kathy Shamliff joins me to tell you where we're at with regard to the fiscal year 2024 budget. The budget was introduced to the council at the last council meeting, and then this will be approved in a September meeting, so it's in place when the new fiscal year begins October 1. The budget for fiscal year 2024 is at $35.5 million, the largest budget in the history of the city. Is that correct?
Yes,
sir. Kathy, and we could spend all day delving into the details of the budget, and but we won't do that, and time does not permit. But I've asked Kathy to give you an overview, key points, and then we'll wrap up a little bit about how the budget comes to be. Kathy, whatever you'd like to share.
Okay. Well, you mentioned a $35.5 million revenue budget.
Well,
we had nice revenue growth this past year. We saw about a 4.5% growth in our sales tax revenue. And Mayor, we've talked about it before, sales tax revenue makes up close to 70% of that total revenue
and Kathy,
number.
one thing that's important there, you look at it, Kathy prepares a management report that comes to me and our council members, and a piece of that management report is she tracks sales tax growth in the state of Alabama, and that's always an interesting number, and as a general rule, we do well and maybe even a little better at times.
Yes, this past month we did a little bit better, but we're always sort of close to the state, which is a good
indicator, isn't it?
Good indicator. I like to see that, and always anxious to pull that number. The next two main revenue sources for the city would be your business license that also trends with sales tax.
Right.
Because if your sales tax is increasing, generally that you'll see the business license increasing. And then your ad valorem tax, which your tax you're going to pay on your property, your house, and your property. So that's your three main revenue sources, and all that, those three sources are going to be probably of that $35.5 million, 32 million of it. I mean, it's three revenue sources are going to be the vast majority of the total revenue. Then looking at expenses, I see us somewhere around the 23.5 million for expenses. The majority, about 35% of that is a result of your police department, public safety operations. We did, in the $35.5 million, include a 2% pay increase this year for our city employees.
And Kathy, that mirrors what the state of Alabama did for its employees. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Then, in addition to that, we have the Jasper City Council has funded all the agencies that it normally funds and provides support for, and that's a lot of agencies within the city receive nice support from the city of Jasper.
And Kathy, a thing on that is that we, somebody asked me the other day, said, you still got all that money at City Hall? And I said, absolutely, but we don't sit here and hoard money. We support many, many things in this city, don't we?
Absolutely, and we're happy to share that list if anyone would like to take a look at it. We provided it to our Jasper City Council as a reminder of all the agencies that do receive support from the city. We have also included in that budget $9.2 million, and what that is, Mayor, that's mostly debt that we pay. We pay about $3.2 million annually for Jasper High School, and also about $3 million towards the new half-a-cent sales tax that was approved in 2022 that will pay off in about 7, 8, 9 years. I think we may have.
And that tax goes away.
And that tax goes away, and it's providing the funding for the paving project that our residents are seeing, as well as Share Auditorium, and working towards getting the new park laid out and planned, and look forward to starting that project very soon. So, and then also in that $9.2 million is $500,000 that we're pulling out of general fund and putting it in a special fund, waiting for and support needs that our departments come to you all during the year with a need for a new one-ton truck, or we see that all year long. And
well, equipment wears out, and the equipment that we have in this city is working more and working harder than it's ever worked in the history of the city, and our folks can't do their work without being adequately equipped, and I'm pleased that we're able to take care of those things, and I can assure you we're not flippant about dealing with a request. There has to be a strong justification for us to step up and replace a piece of equipment.
And that's true, and I'm just very pleased that the general fund has the money to pull $500,000 and put it in an area that we can replace that equipment as it's needed, and not just have to go do short-term loans for $100,000 or $80,000 piece of equipment. But we also have pulled from the general fund $1 million that we put in a fund that we use to upgrade make park improvements, and this could be in the way of facility maintenance. As we're seeing now, we're getting ready to replace the roofs on Swan Gym and Natatorium, big projects. We will receive the bid in on those two buildings, I think it's the second week in September. So very important that we have money that we can keep our buildings
Let me share with you
maintained.
something maybe many of you can have a familiarity with. These things come up. Swan Gym, been around for a long time. Just yesterday, we've been working on this. The doors to Swan Gym, the doors that were put in that building when it was built. We've had break-ins there. They've been damaged. They've been repaired to the point that there's no way to repair them and keep them functional. And the bid came in yesterday to replace the doors at Swan Gym, rounded $20,000.
Yes.
So those are the kind of things that we encounter. Probably not a week goes by, does it, Kathy,
No.
without encountering something along those lines.
That's true, and that's why it's so important to have the fund balance, and that's the next number I'm going to get to in this 2024 budget, is after we have paid our expenses and our debt, we do think that we'll be about $2.7 million that will be left in the general fund. You know, Mayor, we feel like with the year that we're about to end, which is September 30th, 2023, and, you know, I'm not a fortune teller, but I do think we will end that year, as I've watched trending all during the year and provided management reports to you and the council, that I think we're going to have we're going to end that year with about a $4.7 million fund balance that we can add to the $19 million that we managed to accumulate for all the years this city's been in existence.
Yeah.
So
It puts us up about $24 million, doesn't it, Kathy?
about $24 million. And so, you know, it's really good to be able to put together a budget where you you see that the revenue growth is outpacing your expenditure growth. And so we've seen that for several years now, which is a result of really everybody working, our managers, mayor and council, everybody working to try to ensure that we spend the money very wisely and able to accumulate some money that we can provide the maintenance and the equipment that's needed to provide the services that residents are receiving.
Right. Well, as Kathy points out, we're probably, 40 days or so away from the end of fiscal year 2023, and you look back and we gave the largest pay raises given in the history of the city, and to be able to operate rounded at a $5 million surplus is it's exciting to me. Not because it puts money in my pocket, or Kathy, it doesn't, but it's good for the people of Jasper, and that's why we're here, is we work for you to manage well, be good stewards of the money, and expense management is something that early on that we had to sell to our employees the importance of it, and a part of selling that is demonstrating the value of expense management, and we've done that. And I'd have to say, by and large, our employees have bought in. I see their actions when they come to see me. You can tell that they have, if they need money, they've done an evaluation as to the route we should take, and the least expensive route is not the route that we always take, but how we can satisfy our needs at the lowest cost. And Kathy and I talk about this often. The cumulative impact of that's huge, is it not?
It is, and we can see that.
We can see that set. Now, Kathy is a master municipal clerk, and when we have meetings and people raise questions about municipal structure and the rules and whatever, every eye in the room zeroes in on Kathy because she knows it like the back of her hand. But municipal government, the structure and the way it functions mirrors all the way to the White House, does it not? There was something said in the paper that the council presented a budget. A council don't present a budget, does it?
No, sir.
The Congress don't present a budget. Kathy, if I say this wrong, feel free to correct me, but the budget is presented by the highest elected official in that political subdivision.
That's correct.
That's right. And then the council has an opportunity to review, to have input, to recommend, to make changes. Nobody solo can do that. The council body has to make the changes.
Correct.
When we roll out the budget, council member A can't just unilaterally strike that out. The council body has to do it. Is that right?
That's correct.
And then, as we mentioned, after they've had a chance to review, and then we give them additional time after the introduction, which happened at our last council meeting, and then it'll be up on the agenda for approval. And at that time, the council could elect not to approve the budget, or they could elect to table it and ask for changes or whatever. If they don't do that and they approve it, then the council, if they approve it, then the budget becomes concrete, if you will, for the upcoming fiscal year. And we all know that you can't see 1 second into the future, and things will happen differently than we could project. And then that brings us to budget amendments. Is that right?
Yes, sir. That's the way it goes.
And Kathy does such a terrific job of making sure that budget amendments happen when they should happen. There's no accumulation. There's no deferral. We can tell you where we're at relative to our projected budget on any given day. and our council can see where we're at from a financial standpoint, because I know this from my previous life. You've got to know where you're at financially, or you're at great risk of making some big messes, and we don't want that.
No, sir.
And then you agree with that?
Yes,
Kathy's a CPA, so if she ratifies what I say, it gives me a good feeling. So that's an overview of our budgeting efforts, where we're at. Our finances are wide open. You have questions about our budget, anything about our finances, reach out to us, and we'll get you an answer on a timely basis, because you're entitled to know. If you want, we have audited financial statements. I've said that on a number of occasions, and if you want to see one, we'll provide a comfortable place, and you can sit and look as long as you want, and we'll answer whatever questions you may have. So we're excited that 2023 is going to draw to a very positive close. We go into 2024 highly optimistic that it will be a good year, projecting that we'll operate at rounded a $3 million surplus next year. Potential certainly there to do even much better than that, and but we don't know. There's things that could happen beyond our control. But thus far, Kathy, over the last 6 years, we've been able to better our projections, or better our numbers, haven't we? And that's what we strive for every day.
It is.
Right. So hopefully you found this informative. And again, if you have questions about city finances, we'd like to hear from you.